Fixing a smart home is kind of annoying, so why not have the smart home automatically fix itself? That's right, I have multiple automations that make my smart home self-heal when it breaks. This is completely next level. I'm going to show you how to do it. Starting first with these WLED light strips, and I love these so much. The fact that you can do multiple colors at once, all the different animations, and I cannot see the individual LED lights on them. But I don't love how often they go offline. It's about once a week, and I have to move all this furniture down here, unplug them, and plug them back in. So what I ended up doing is plugging these light strips into a smart outlet. That way I don't have to manually unplug them and plug them back in. And talk about peak first world problems, right? I know, I'm extremely lazy, and you guys can roast me down in the comments and make fun of all the first world problems I create and then solve. But it gets better. Home Assistant can detect when a device is offline and trigger an automation from it. So that makes it possible for me to create an automation to automatically reboot these light strips if they go offline. Let me show you the automation. So for this automation, the trigger is when an entity status changes. And normally you would have the status be on or off, like the light strips turned on, trigger something, but you can actually choose unavailable as a status, and that means that they're offline. And you might not want it to immediately trigger right when it goes offline. Like, what if it only went offline for like 5 seconds and then came back online? So what you can do is right underneath it, it says 4, and I put 5 minutes. Now you could do however long you want, but if they've been offline for 5 minutes, that will trigger this automation. So for the actions, they're pretty self-explanatory. The smart outlet kills power to the light strips, waits a few seconds, turns them back on. But how do I know if the light strips should be off or on once they reboot? Well, what you can do is add a condition in the actions to see if the light should be on or off. And the way I know that is the light strips at my desk. If they're on, then all the lights should be on. So there's a condition to check for that. And if they're on, then the light strips that are rebooting will stay on. If the light strips at my desk are off, then the light strips that just reboot should turn off. Pretty easy. Ever since I added this automation, I never see these light strips offline anymore because they're just always working. And it's awesome that my smart home just fixes itself. But these light strips can be rebooted right away. It doesn't bother anybody else. But what about some smart light bulbs in the kitchen? That needs to be handled differently. So let's check that out. This is amazing and basically solves all the issues with smart light bulbs. Because smart light bulbs can be a little unreliable. They might not turn on or off when you want them to. That's why I normally go with smart light switches, but this changes it. This makes it so you can have your cake and eat it too. We're talking max spouse approval factor. I'll be honest, I didn't come up with this myself. I found out about this from Dave, whose house I toured last year in Texas. And if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. He made his own smart light switch, but you can do this with an off-the-shelf light switch like I have right here. This smart light switch is from Innovelli, and Zeus makes one with very similar features. And what this can do is turn on smart light bulb mode. And that will always keep power to the smart light bulbs and makes it so you can't kill power with the little paddle switch. But the paddle switch basically turns into a smart button where you can control the smart light bulbs. But here's the thing that makes this all work. You can kill power to the smart light bulb from the smart home hub, so you can physically turn this light switch on and off still, and that will allow you to reboot the smart light bulbs. All right, so here's how to make it so the smart light bulbs never go offline. Whenever you press the off button on the smart switch or turn off the lights in the dashboard, instead of just running a scene to turn off the smart lights, run a script. And for this script, it checks to see if any of the smart bulbs are offline. If so, it will kill power from the smart light switch. And so that way the lights always turn off no matter what. But if all the lights are online, it will just turn off the lights from a scene. Then if you want to turn the lights back on, you would just check to see if the smart light switch is turned off first. If so, turn the smart light switch back on to give power back to the smart bulbs, and the bulb should just turn on right away. So from your family's perspective, the lights are always online because they always turn off and turn back on when they're supposed to. It's genius. Oh, and I have this automation that has to do with lights, fans, or anything you turn on and off in your smart home. and it's gonna blow your mind on how cool it is. I've never seen anybody post about this on YouTube before, so make sure you hit that subscribe button with bell notifications turned on because you're not gonna wanna miss it. Have you ever tried to automate some device in your smart home like the Apple TV or robot vacuum and it wasn't working? The fix was just to reload the integration and then magically it starts working again? Well, what if I told you you never have to do that again? You can set up an automation to do it for you. Here's how I have the automation. It's triggered when the Apple TV is unavailable, so if it's offline. Basically, the same trigger as I showed in the first automation. But then for the action, it runs a core integration reload config entry. And I just select the Apple TV, and that's it. Now it's fixed. Ever since I added this automation for devices like my Apple TV, they're always online, or at least they always appear to be online for me. And it has made my smart home essentially rock solid because everything always works. I also set up an automation that reloads certain integrations on a daily basis, and I find that that can help as well. But I love that my smart home can fix itself. It makes it so much better. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. If I could only automate my family's IT issues. Wait, I got it.
Hey Alexa, my iPad isn't working.
Turn the iPad off and on again.
Hey, it's working!